5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Fact?
Yeah.
Okay. So this gives me 2 colorless mana in my mana pool. And it looks pretty.
Which one do you think looks the best?
Probably that one with the bear.
Okay.
That's kind of cute.
Okay.
Command Tower. Massacre Worm. Comes into play. Creature opponent's control get -2/-2. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, that player loses 2 life. It dies. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
My opponent's creatures go because of the worm.
What worm?
This one, look, it's called a Massacre Worm. See? Look how ugly it is.
Boy. That's disgusting. The worm. Well, it is. It's just ugly. Okay, go.
Talisman of Indulgence. Tap at a colorless or tap at a black or red. And if I do that, I take a point of damage. Otherwise, it's just really pretty. And it's a mana rock to make him come out faster. Swamp. Hey, we're in the home stretch. Xiaodun, the one-eyed. Now, Xiaodun, I thought of taking out and putting in Demonic Tutor or Vampiric Tutor. The thing is, I cannot have them both in the deck at the same time, because then the logical line of play is to Demonic Tutor for Xiaodun, and then sacrifice him to get the Demonic Tutor back. And then I have so many so many ways of getting things back into the graveyard. Whenever I need something specific, and yes, it is a few extra hoops. Yes, he does cost 4 to cast. But I can just replay him. I can Coffin Queen him out, sacrifice him to his own ability. I don't have to exile him. And get the Demonic Tutor back. So I would never not have the card that I need. But then the deck just becomes incredibly consistent, plays the same way each time, and would be boring, and it would just really ramp up the power level. I've not talked about the power level so far, because I kind of wanted to go through the cards and look at the stack. But Kaervek, because he's disjointed, because there's no real overarching theme, other than get Kaervek in play, and try to keep him in play, and recast him, put him back into play when he dies. That is the theme. Everything else is just either fun cards or serves that theme. He's not a very powerful deck. Probably a 6 or 7 just based on the cards that I have. But the overall strategy, the overall thrust, what he's trying to do, keep himself alive, it's not that powerful. It's just fun. Let me put him in the light more. It's just fun to watch my opponents kind of hesitate when they're casting spells and he's in play. Now I do get to make deals. For example, somebody's going to play something and I say, hey, if you don't counter my next spell, I will take out this thing over here that's bothering all of us. Or I will hurt that guy and not you if you do this thing for me. That sort of thing. You know, you can do political games. But anyway, that's why I don't have Demonic Tutor in here or Vampiric Tutor. I do not have unrestricted tutors because I have an unrestricted way of getting them back reliably. Full take key, untap Grim Monolith, or Mana Vault. Whatever you need. Chlorethritter. Now, a lot of you probably don't know what this guy does. I think he was reprinted, but I'm not sure. So last time he was printed, to my knowledge, was Shadowmoor, which is now 10 years ago? 15? It's been over 10 years, that's for damn sure. So anyway, he's 3 black, black, red, red hybrid. 3/3 flyer with Wither. And here's the important thing. Creatures your opponents control with counters on them cannot attack or block. And he doesn't care what kind of counters. So if something has a trample counter or a death touch counter, anything like that. If somebody animates a planeswalker, like let's say one of the who's the white planeswalker that got killed, Gideon. If Gideon wakes up, well, he's got loyalty counters, so he can't attack or block. So that's why he's pretty cool. Put counters on your opponent's creatures, and this guy, and they can't attack or block. They're just stuck. Chromatic Lantern. Yes, I'm playing Chromatic Lantern in a 2-color deck because I've been burned so many times by not having the right mana available. Either I need more black and I've got colorless and red, or vice versa, I need red and I've got more black and colorless. I said, screw this, I'm playing Chromatic Lantern. When Cube saw this, he looked at it. He said, that's Chromatic Lantern. I said, yo, Chromatic Lantern 2-color deck. Interesting. And that was his only comment. And nobody tried to destroy it, which I was happy about. Murderous Red Cap comes into play. Deals damage equal to its power to target creature's player with Persist. Of course, if Mikaeus is in play, the Persist does not impact on dying. So, if he comes into play, does 2 damage, and then I sacrifice him, he comes to play, does 1 damage. If I sacrifice him again, say to Goblin Bombardment, and Mikaeus is in play, he'll come back undying. He'll be a 3/3, so he'll do 3 damage. So, it's not a lot of damage, yeah. It probably shouldn't make me as happy as it does, but it does. Rakdos Charm. This is another just random card shoved into here. So like I said, there's no real overarching theme. It's just fun things, different effects I thought I would need for this sort of deck, whatever sort of deck it is. But this is really funny for me. A couple months ago, somebody's playing a graveyard deck. I pulled Rakdos Charm. And I knew I had told him. He was playing Muldrotha. I have Muldrotha. And I had told him several times that in my Muldrotha I run 6 effects with the sole purpose of protecting my graveyard. And I'm very careful about them. And I really try not to go off with Muldrotha, try not to fill the graveyard unless I have one accessible. And I keep either the mana open, or in the case of Siren Stormtamer, I keep it in play and I keep 1 blue open for him to protect my graveyard. Well, Hansa had filled his graveyard up pretty good, and I decided to test him to see if he'd taken my advice. So I said, hey, Hansa, I'm going to Rakdos Charm your graveyard. No, why would you do that? Well, because you're about to go off on us and kill us, and I just wanted to see if he took my advice. So he didn't have a way of protecting his graveyard. What else does this do again? Oh, destroy target artifact, or each creature deals 1 damage to its controller. Okay, yeah, it has 3 modes. Okay, so I have 4. Well, 1 is kind of a soft board wipe, but 4. Toxic Deluge. Pay life, all creatures get neg X until end of turn. Forgot about that. Snugward Swamp. Kiki Mirror Breaker. Haste. Tap. Put a token into play that's a copy of target non-legendary. Massacre Worm is not legendary. Creature control. Token is haste. Sack it at the beginning of the next end step. Dualcaster Mage. This is a little Cyclonic Rift insurance. So if somebody plays Cyclonic Rift, they have altered the spell. They have changed the spell. So if you fork, reverberate, Dualcaster Mage, if you copy a overloaded Cyclonic Rift, you're copying the overloaded Cyclonic Rift. You're not getting the bounce one thing back, you're getting the bounce everything back. So what it does is it makes whoever casts the Cyclonic Rift pick up their stuff too. So everybody's on equal footing. That's only fair, isn't it? I think it is. And he's flashy. Perforos got der Schmied. Took me a while to find a German foil one, but eventually I did. And I shoved it in here. So, Perforos. 3 in red for a 6/5 god. If your devotion to red is less than 5, he is not a creature. He's just an indestructible enchantment. The relevant bit is that whenever a creature comes into play into your control, each opponent takes 2 damage. If he's a creature, if he's active and have gratuitous violence, every time I play a creature, that's 4 damage. Because it's not loss of life, it's damage. And if I have devotion to red, he's a creature, so gratuitous violence sees him and says, hey, punch harder. And he says, jawohl. Balthor the Defiled. So this is my graveyard insurance. Sometimes in Kaervek I fill up my graveyard and make it a nice tempting target for a Bojuka Bog. If I've got Balthor the Defiled in play, I keep 3 black ready just in case. So at instant speed you can spend 3 black, exile Balthor, and then everybody returns all black and all red creature cards from their graveyard to play. Yeah, you'll randomly get some opponents that will get some action out of it too. But the important thing is that you don't lose whatever creatures you have in your graveyard that are about to get exiled by a Bojuka Bog, or Tormod's Crypt, or whatever the nonsense they have that will do that. Otherwise, all minions get +1/+1. I've never checked. I never checked to see if I have any other minions in the deck. I don't think I do. But that's not what he's here for. Cemetery Reaper. Kook. Other zombie creatures go get +1/+1 as the Coffin Queen becomes a 2/2. So 2 in a black, exile target creature card from graveyard, any graveyard, not mine. I don't want to exile my stuff. That does not sound like a good idea to me at all. And I get a 2/2 black zombie creature token. So I get rid of a problem before it comes out of the graveyard and becomes a real. I get rid of a threat before it becomes a problem. Let's put it that way. And I get a token that I can do things with. What's not to love? And it's a zombie. So if I have Grapeborn Muse, she counts it and hurts me, but gives me cards. Goblin Weller. He's in here mainly for the memory jar. So I can sack the jar, get new cards. If I have the Goblin Weller next turn, I can exchange, I don't know, my Arcane Signet. Change Arcane Signet for the memory jar. Break the jar. And get more cards. So he's pretty cool. Plus, if an opponent has some threatening artifact and you manage to Shattering pull something that wasn't that threatening earlier, you can make them trade the threatening artifact for the one that isn't so threatening in the graveyard. I need to look this up and see if it says destroy. Because if it doesn't say destroy, then that gets around indestructible artifacts too, which is not often relevant, but it could be. So I need to look that up. Anyway, again, you're seeing Kaervek really, it's not powerful, other than just the sheer having good cards, having some focus, but how does it win? It wins by dealing damage at Kaervek for the most part. Sometimes I sneak in a bit of damage with some of my creatures, but I don't have any infinite combos. I don't have any super big beefy badass except Massacre Worm, Micaeus, Phyrexian Obliterator. I guess he's pretty big and beefy. But other than the big beefy guys I don't have any big beefy guys to beat people with, right? So this Arcane Signet shows it for the art because I think it fits the theme of Kaervek. You know, skeletons, death. Kind of cool. Mountain. A bit more graveyard insurance, so I don't just activate him willy-nilly. I like to have him in play, and if somebody is going to go for something that I think could be a problem, then I exile in response. If somebody is going to go for something and I don't think it's going to be a problem, I might make noises like I'm going to do something, but then not do anything, just to keep everybody on their toes, just to let people know that Kaervek is still here. Mog Infestation. So it's not really board wipe because it only targets one player. Sometimes it targets me, and you might ask why. Why the hell would you do that? So let's say I have Perforos in play and he's not a creature. This is important. He cannot be a creature when I do this, otherwise he gets caught up in it. So let's say I have 6 creatures and Perforos is just hanging around being an enchantment. So I spend 3 red, destroy our creatures I control. So the number we're dealing with now is 6. I get 12 token creatures, and Perforos does 24 points of damage to each of my opponents, 2 per creature. So yeah, that's why I might Mog Infest myself, because of Perforos. I was pretty happy when I thought of that line of play. Vampire Sex Mage, my Planeswalker killer. Lightning Greaves. Yep, make it so Kaervek cannot be targeted. And he's hasty, but he's not going to attack any. I have attacked with Kaervek before. Not often, just opportunistically. Command Beacon. He costs a lot and he dies a lot, so I need a way of putting him back so I don't have to pay, 6 mana commander tax. Paying 9 is bad enough. Paying 11, that gets kind of onerous, but paying 15, I don't want to do that. So I'll just Command Beacon him. More often I just put him in the graveyard and dig him out with a Stronghold. Terror of the Peaks. I recently looked this price up on Magic Card Market, and I was shocked. I was shocked at how much it goes for now. It goes for quadruple what I paid for it. So I listed it on MCAM for 100 euros, just to see if anybody bites. I don't think they will, but if I can get 100 euros out of this full art foil Terror of the Peaks, that means I can get a regular frame one, still foil, and I get a bunch of other cards too. Not anything big, not like I can buy a dual land or anything crazy, but if I could trade him for a foil version of him with a frame, and say a Pro Tour foil Nykthos Shrine to Nyx, I think that would be a good trade. Oh yeah, what does he do? For anybody who wasn't really paying attention because I was moving it around, so suppose your opponent's cast a target, he's got Ward 3 life. So if my opponent's going to target him, no, it's only spells, not abilities. Never mind, it's not ward at all. What am I thinking? So spells my opponent's cast that target him cost an additional 3 life to cast. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under my control, he does damage equal to the creature's power to any target. Boomba. Falkenrath Noble. Whenever he or another creature dies, target player loses 1 life, and I gain that life. And he's a 2/2 flying vampire. And he looks so cool. Smoldering Marsh. Did they do the enemy cycle yet? Maybe I missed it. So I know there's the allied cycle. I know Canada Vista is the forest plains. Something prairie is the island plains. Did they do the island mountain? Did they do the swamp plains? Did they do the enemy colored lands of this type? If anybody knows that they have, let me know. Otherwise I'm just going to keep assuming they haven't, and we're waiting for that. Maybe it'll be an MH3 swamp. Petrified Field. I've never had to use it, but I keep it in play just in case I need to. At this point, I don't really know why, because my opponents don't go after... We don't go after each other's lands. We really don't. I play Wasteland in Sigarda just because I like looking at the Wasteland, the original Tempest version. I just like the art. Una Fricker is a fantastic artist. She didn't do that many cards, but I like the one she did. I have Fulminator Mage in here, but I don't use him. So if nobody's destroying my lands, what do I need this for? I just kind of like the way it looks, really. Kind of fits the theme of the deck, that art. Bleak and hopeless. Nykthos, Shrine Index. Add 1 to your mana pool, or spend 2, better yet. Choose a color. Add to your mana pool an amount of mana of that color equal to your devotion to that color. So if I've got 6 red pips in play, I can get 6 red. I can net 4 because I have to spend 2 to do it. Yeah. Beetleback Chief, another little token generator. When this guy comes into play, he brings 2 buddies with him. Of course, unlike the War Marshal, when he dies, he just dies. Otherwise, he's a semi-efficient 2/2 for 4 mana, with not really any other goblin support. Well, I can throw something at him with the Siege Gang Commander. No, I can throw him at something with the Siege Gang Commander. If I could throw something at him, that would be funny, but that's not how the game works. Swamp. Swamp. Helm of Possession. Yeah, I'm just about done. Yep. So, 4, put in play, spend 2, sack a creature, gain control of target creature so long as I control Helm of Possession. This is one of the things that I have the token theme for. Because of Helm of Possession, random things, sacrifice a creature, do something. And it's nice to have creatures I don't care about to do that with. So you can do this in instant speed, and of course as soon as you untap the Helm, if you forget and you draw a card, well, actually if you do any upkeep, so you untap, and if you untap this, if your opponents are savvy, they can say, get my creature back, give it back, Smokey, and then you have to spend 2, second the creature, and do it again. So just be mindful when you untap. Grave Titan. 4 black for a 6/6 death-touching zombie. And when it comes in play, you get two black zombie tokens. When he attacks, you also get two black zombie tokens. Recruiter, my Kinky Jiki finder. So he comes to play, go find Kinky Jiki or Dockside. A lot of good targets in here for him, actually, and I pulled out another pack, and Kaervek was just the best place to put him, because most of my other decks with, actually, maybe I've got a better place for him, but he's so damn cheap now, I can just buy another one. Or I could buy a foil one for Kaervek, and I can put this in somewhere else. Options. I've got a lot of options. Anyway, I like this guy. He does good work in this deck, and he finds things. Mana Shots. I have a German, is it 4th edition? Foreign? Sometimes it's a little bit tricky deciding 4th edition foreign versus 4th edition English, because they didn't quite call it the same. Anyway, since I have this darker art German Mana Vault, it goes nicely with my darker art frame German Sol Ring. I like having the duality of having the Mana Vault and the Sol Ring match. I don't know why, I just do. Maybe because they're both Martiden, they're both Mana Rocks for 1, but I just like it when they're from the same set. For a while in Sharoom, I had a 4th edition Mana Vault and a revised 3rd edition Sol Ring, and it bothered me. It bothered me that they didn't quite match. So eventually I fixed that problem. Right, so that's the last card. Let's wrap it up by... I want to know what you think of, now that you've seen the whole deck, what do you think of Kaervek's power level? I still think he's mid and not that strong. It's not hard to On the surface, it shouldn't be hard to disrupt me. But in practice, because he's doing so many different things and he's got no real theme, it's kind of hard to tell what I'm trying to do with Kaervek. Which, as I said many times, play him and keep him in play. Just for the fun of having him in play and seeing what people do. Even one game where somebody stole my Kaervek. I had Kaervek in play. Somebody used an effect to take possession of him. I was still happy because Kaervek was still in play and still fucking with people. Even though it was hurting me, I was like, yeah, that's my Kaervek. He's kicking everybody's ass. Even mine. That's my boy. Alright, enough of that.